Aloha class, I wanted to give you an overview of this case or this prepare assignment control risk matrix for the recordings of cash sales of PCC Pineapple Delights. So it starts off with a narrative. You are in charge auditor. For the audit of the PCC, you are now working to understand their internal controls, specifically over Pineapple Delights. And this narrative is just made up. It's not actually what they do for their Pineapple Delights. And I believe that they don't do it in Pineapple Delights at Night Show, but I think in the Canoe Show. So you are trying to identify internal controls, which are, of course, policies and procedures designed to provide management with reasonable assurance that the company achieves its objectives and goals. And specifically, these controls over financial reporting, specifically this process of selling Pineapple Delights and the cash that they receive from selling these Pineapple Delights. So you'll read this narrative and identify controls in here, and then pull up this Pineapple Delight control risk matrix. And I'll pull that up for you. And so we're going to type out those internal controls that we find, and an example of a control risk matrix is given on page 308 of your textbook. And if you need to refer to transaction-related audit objectives and kind of give you an idea of those again, they're in chapter 6 starting on page 156. And so you'll type in the internal controls that you believe match our transaction-related audit objectives, and there's also these comments in here that can help you. Separation of duties can help with occurrence, and so it'll give you a hint there. But so you'll type in those controls, and this control addresses completeness. So you can just use that drop-down box and put a C there. And so you'll go throughout that whole narrative writing down those controls, and you can wrap the text on top and increase these cell sizes so you have a space for those controls, and then put a C in for the control that addresses the transaction-related audit objective. And so you'll see good things and bad things in the narrative, deficiencies, and so you can note those deficiencies in the narrative where there's not a control there, or we're missing a control deficiency, and where there's that deficiency, so you can put a D there. And if there's enough controls that match our audit objectives, we can say that the control risk, let's go down all the way down, possible control risk assessments, the control risk would be low there because we have a lot of controls. Maybe we can rely on those controls in our audit, and the controls are in place, and so that assessed risk of material misstatement is low. The controls are preventing, detecting, or correcting any material misstatements. If there aren't a lot of controls that address completeness, we can assess this risk as high. And we believe that there's material misstatement because the controls can't, detect material misstatement, and they're incomplete, or there's a problem with completeness there. And so make sure you type in all your controls, put a C on what audit objective they address, and then put in the deficiencies with the D, and assess control risk, low or high or moderate. And that's it for my intro. Thank you.